What up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and thank y'all for tuning in. It's Matty B. I'm coming to you on a Friday evening with a few updates from the Philadelphia Supercross. They've been getting some rain this week, so they made some track and schedule modifications, which you may remember. They made some heavy track modifications in Seattle a few weeks ago as well, and it actually turned out really good. And I'm a fan of the revisions they've made to the track layout. There's a lot more long rhythm lanes, more 180 bowl turns, not as many 90s, and the track's just a lot more opened up. So I actually think this layout could even be better than the original, but let's get into it. And I'm sorry, y'all, due to the copyright national, I'm not allowed to talk over the video of the track map for whatever reason, so I'm just going to give you guys some snapshots of the map. No change with the start, right down the middle as it always was, and the first turn also remains unchanged, just a flat little sweeping 180. Into the first rhythm section, they've made it one jump longer, so instead of 7 jumps, now it's 8, so I'm predicting a double in off those first 2 little starter jumps and then a 3-3 on the way out, and that's if you can navigate the ruts. But 2-3-3 into this 180 bowl turn to the right, and then this long rhythm, the longest one on the track, remains unchanged. I think there's quite a few different combos that could be going down depending on how the build went down during the week and how much rain has been in the contract. But jump out of the rhythm section into this 90-degree right, and then instead of a Supercross triple, it's just a double, which this section was already pretty one-lined anyway, so I'm thinking people are just going to hug the inside in the 90 and then grease the little double. And then this is where the layout of the track really changes, because on the previous layout, there was a bridge on the track, so after that double, you do about a 135-degree corner and then rip under the bridge backwards onto the start straight. But now the bridge is gone. I can only assume that would be a disaster trying to get that thing in and out in the mud and the rain. But now after you land this double, you just have another 90-degree turn to the right, and then there's a little 4 whoop, maybe a little double section into the finish line. I had no choice but to use an image of the pyro going off because I'll never know what that feels like. No choice. Land the finish line, got one more little pop double, headed into this 180-degree left-handed bull turn, and this is the section of the track that I really think is much improved, because instead of having that zigzag and stuff back by where the tunnel was, now you just have big, long, stadium-length lanes, which is always good for people trying to get alongside each other to make block passes in the bull turns. And we got plenty of 180s, so I love that too. Then we're into the whoops. I predicted this would change because it was a double into the whoops, but there's a new rule this year. They don't want any obstacles before the whoops, so they switched it up. They put the whoops in front of the jump afterwards. And as a fan, I really don't love this. I like to see the entry speed into the whoops rewarded when people are willing to send it on the way in, but I'm not out there racing and I'm not running the show, so it's neither here nor there. But then out of the whoops, you have a triple, so it'll be crucial to get through the whoops good so you can seat hop and jump the triple on the way out. Into another 180 bull turn to the right, and then this section is completely different. We got another long rhythm. I'm thinking the line is going to be step on, step off, double, triple, and then double out. Maybe step on, step off, triple, triple, single, but we'll just have to see how much precipitation has hit the deck in Philadelphia. But out of this final rhythm, into this sweeper, and this section's actually running in reverse as to what the original layout was, but into this sweeper, sweep back onto the start straight, and that's a lap on the revised version of the Philadelphia Supercross. And I'm down with it. I think it's going to provide great racing. I'm sure it was a little easier to build the track like this, but I think it'll race better also. Long rhythm lanes, more 180s. We're missing the sand and we're missing the bridge, but I think it's going to work out really well. And just think back to Seattle when they had to revise the track. Remember how awesome the racing was? I think we're in for another good one. And an update on the weather. It looks like the worst of it is going to be over after this evening. Almost 1.5 inches of rain tonight. But remember, the track crew works their magic. They've got it all covered and sealed up. They'll pull the tarps off tomorrow morning, and as long as it's not pouring during the racing, then the track usually doesn't turn out that bad. And tomorrow they're calling for less than 1/10 of an inch of rain, so it really shouldn't be a problem besides all the rain tonight. So really all that's going to do is just let all the water sit in between the transitions and in between all the jumps, so it's going to be super rutted and soft. Might see some kickers and some curb-like jump faces, but it's nothing these guys haven't seen before, and it'll just be gnarlier than ever. And last but not least, onto some revisions of the schedule. All they've really done is cut out the free practice, which I've heard a lot of talk about people saying they don't even need the free practice anyway, so not really much of a change there. And then, of course, for now, the night show schedule remains the same. I really don't see it changing with the weather in the forecast. It shouldn't be much rain on race day, so if anything changes, they usually cut the laps and cut the time down when the time comes right before the main events. But with the current forecast, I see this schedule remaining as is. And remember, y'all, it's an East-West showdown, so I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be some awesome racing. I just keep thinking back to how great the racing was at Seattle with how rutted and technical the track was. It just lends itself to a lot of mistakes when the track's like that, and that makes for good, exciting racing. So thank you all for watching. And if you have a minute, check out one of my channel sponsors, quickmoto.com. If you're looking for some graphics, backgrounds, canopies, or anything of that nature, you can use my code on screen for 20% off of all that kind of stuff. And if you're supporting them, you're supporting me. Appreciate you guys watching. We out.